Welcome everyone to a wonderful song by a great band from Canada. They've been around since 1969. I was surprised. I didn't realize, I knew they were in the 70s and 80s, but I didn't realize they actually started in 69, so that was pretty cool. It wasn't a request. Mr. Oldsfly, who is a good friend of mine from YouTube, he just sent me this video, great song, and I'm like, they make a great lesson. So as I started researching it, which I do, I felt something was missing. So I started really just loading it up into riff stations, slowing it down, and I could hear that all the online lessons in the tab were missing really a note, one single note. And think of the song, it's a roller, so they make this a rolling lick. I think that's a great little take on it. So with that said, I've written this out. We're in standard tuning. My notes will be available. Just click below the video. Okay, Patreon update. I am not going to do it. I just don't think I could give you value for the minimum is $1 a month, and I'm not looking to do that and make money that way. So I did join Buy Me a Coffee, and I will try to upload some things there, so I'll have a link to that below the video. If you feel the lesson's worth it, you want to send me 10 cents, wonderful. Not, that's fine too, but no pressure on me to upload content, but I will. I'm going to try and get some stuff up there, show you some of the guitars I have and why I have them, and go through some of that stuff, the amps and things. So with that said, let's get into the lesson. This is just such a great song. 3 guitars in this band, if you don't know that. So I've tried to basically put everything into one guitar, so you'll be jumping a little bit, but it really is doable. So real quick, a little funny story. I was working this up, and David Brewster, who's a great teacher, I'll put a link to his video. He actually posted an April Wine chord play video, which his late night lessons, I mean, he's just a phenomenal guitar teacher, and I've learned a lot from him. And he did an April Wine while I was learning this, so he kind of he came to the same conclusion about rollers. So it was, I don't want to say vindicated, it's just like I'm on the right track, because I really try and do my lessons as correctly for you guys. I feel it's a responsibility. This is not about me or look what I can do. I'm too freaking old for that. Okay, I've spoken too much. I'm sorry. Get into the lesson. The intro. Alright, it's going to start out. This lick, like I said, is real specific. We're going to hit the open 6th string E note to the 4th string, 2nd fret twice, that E note. And then we go to the 5th string, 5th fret, pull off to 4, pull off to 2, pull off to open. This is not easy, folks. It takes some practice. Alright, so far we have this. Then he hits the 6th string again, back to the 2nd fret of the 4th. Does it again. Once more. Now, he does hit the 6th string open before going into the next lick. What that does is it helps you with timing. These are little things I don't think people explain very well. But after that pull off, go back to that 6th string, and then we're going to do open 4th string hammered onto the 2nd fret and then 4th fret before striking the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And then we'll do the same thing on the 5th to the 4th. Alright, one other thing I want to mention is the picking on this. You're going to come down with the first 3. And then up because it lets you come back down on that E and start over again. All right, it just helps with the flow. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the very first measure. The next measure, they're going to do that pull off from 5/4 to 2 and open on the 5th string, then the open E string after the 3rd time to a D, and again that open 6th string gives us timing to hit that D and then an A power chord. So we have this. Okay, so that's the first 2 measures. The 3rd measure is just like we did in the first measure. All right, we're going to end with that rolling lick from the 4th to the 3rd string and the 5th to the 4th. Then what we do is 1 set of the pull off, 5/4-2 to open 6th string, and then stop on the 2nd fret of the 4th. Then they kick in, and this is still, I consider it part of the intro. We go to an E power chord, and these are all upstrokes, all right? So we want to hit the first one, let it ring a little bit, and then hit it, downstroke muted, hit it again, upstroke, downstroke muted, hit it again, upstroke. And the 5th time we just hit that E, slide down, and then we continue just palm muted 6th string with a 1 E count, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. All right, so those 4 counts, I think he does about 32 times. I really had trouble counting it, even with it slowed down. I'm old, I'm sorry. But he'll say, all right. And then we go into, I'm calling this an interlude. There isn't really an interlude in this song per se. It's similar to the chorus, but it's not the chorus. So I'm calling it the interlude. So for this interlude I was talking about, he'll say, all right, and then we come in with a D to an A. And then he goes into this lick. All right, of course it's played a bit faster, but what he's doing, a couple palm mutes on the 6th string to the 2nd fret twice on the 4th string, and then you'll hit it again and pull off to open. Then hit the open 6th string and then the 2nd fret of the 4th string. The 2nd time, he'll do the 2 palm muted, the 2 hits on 4, and then the 2 pulled off to open, and then he goes to the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and then a slight pull down on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. Then we do that very first lick again. Then a couple more palm mutes, and then just pull off and trill on the 2nd and open on the 4th string. And then it's about a 4 count, and then he goes into an E, and then continues chugging through verse 2. Again, I think it's about 32 times, and then we'll hear the first lick. So during the 2nd verse, the first lick we'll hear will sound like this. So what we're doing, we're on the 2nd string, pulling off from 14 to 12, then hit 12 again real quick, and then hit 12 on the 3rd string. That second hit of 12 is really, I don't know if it was accidental, but it really helps with the timing. All right, so they continue singing, and then the next lick you'll hear will sound like this. So he's taken the third and second string at 14 bent up, and then just a little chuck, and then 14 bent up, released, and pulled off to 12 on that third and second string. Landing on 14 on the fourth string, back to 12 on the third and second. All right, and then the very last lick you'll hear during the second verse, it's very quick. It'll sound like this. So what we're doing is bending the second string at 15, hitting 12 on the first string, coming back to 15 on the second, pulled off to 12, and then 12 hitting 15 with a bend and vibrato. All right, and then he says, given everything, and then we are into the actual chorus. The actual chorus, very similar to that interlude lick, but we're not pulling off or anything. It'll sound like this. Alright, so we're doing, it's kind of a little longer D to A before we come in, hitting a muted sixth string twice to the second fret of the fourth twice. We'll do that a total of 3 times. That's the notes, I should say, 3 times. Then just a simple D to A. Back to your notes 3 times. D, A. We'll go through that one more time. Now the last one, he shortens it up. We just go through the notes twice before we do a little extended D and then A. And then we're into the actual first solo. I'll go over the solo rhythm, very similar to kind of the intro with the lick. Okay, solo rhythm, a little bit different. We're going to do 3 measures of the very intro first lick, where we do the pull-offs and then the hammer-on. So I'll do 1 measure of it. We'll do that 2 more times, total of 3. Then we go through that rolling lick twice, stopping on that 4th string, so it'll sound like this. Then we do a walk up. We're going to walk up to A, so it'll be 2nd fret, F sharp to G sharp, and then eventually A, where we'll be adding our pinky to the 9th fret. All right, so it'll sound like this. 2 hits and then just a single hit on the G sharp. So we start out 2 hits on the A before adding, this is a 6th of an A chord. So I'm going to say the 6th before adding the 6th. And then we hit it 1 time, it kind of ends that. And then we start 2 more again before we throw our pinky down, and then 3 more A's. Do the walk up again. Same with the A. Then we go from we're going to walk up to a B. Alright, so we're going to go G sharp to A twice each. 1 time on the A sharp before we get to the B with the same 6th added. This time it would be the 11th fret. One more time. All right, and And then what we do, it's just a slight walk down. We're going to go to G, G flat, F, and then into our rolling lick 3 times before D and A. All right, so I'll just talk to that so far. Now he's going to do the rolling lick 1 time and stop on the 2nd fret of that 4th string. All right, so now we're into solo 2. The rhythm is really very similar to what we did in the verses. We're just going to be chugging along on that 6th string. All right, repeats about 32 times. Like I said, there's a lot to it. And then there's a break, and you'll hear a D chord. And then they come back in with the chug about 8 times. 2 E's, the last one is held. And then this. All right, that's where the echo comes in. So we're basically playing the bottom half in an E on the 9th fret of the 3rd, 2nd string, adding the 1st string at 12. And of course you'd hear the echo. All right. So that is a solo rhythm. While they do that, the other guitars come in with the E here. We'll talk about that in the solo, but they all kind of just crash on an E. All right, and then we're into verse 3. Verse 3, again, palm muted. It's much shorter. We're only going to repeat that 7 times. And then he'll say, giving it all she's got, and they stop. And then we start the outro. For the outro rhythm, it's a bit different in that they change it up with what they're doing. So I really suggest you look at my notes, but if you just play along, you'll kind of follow. The pattern is we're going to start out with the longer D to A, and then a rolling lick just twice to a D and an A that's held slightly. Now they do the rolling lick 3 times. Then they do just like we did. We're not doing an extended D to A to start it, but we're going to do the rolling lick twice to a D and an A held. Then the 3, back to 2 rolling licks before D and A. 1 more longer, 1 more shorter. That'd be 3 rolling licks, 2 rolling licks. Then we're going to do something different. The next 4 pick through the D and A chord. So the next 4 measures in the outro will go through the rolling lick twice. Then we start picking through the chord. We start with the 4th string on a D, to the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st string, back to the 3rd, I'm sorry, it's back to the 2nd and 3rd. Then we do the same thing with the A, but we'll start at the 5th string through the 2nd. All right, so those arpeggios happen after 2 rolling licks for 4 measures. And then we're getting towards the end, 2 more rolling licks. Then we're going to do 1, 2, 3 on the D, 2 hits on A, a pull down on the 6th string, 3rd fret, and then A. And then repeat that. The whole rhythm. Okay, the licks are very memorable. I can't wait to go through this. It was just a blast learning them. So we'll go through that next. The first solo, again, all these solos are very melodic. I think that's why this was a big hit. So the first lick sounds like this. Alright, I'll just stop there. So what we're doing, second string, 17th fret, we're going to hit that twice with some vibrato. Then we hit it one more time before going back to 15 and then 17. Then we come down to the first string and hit 15 with a bend and then slide off. And then we come back with 17, a slow bend and release. And then we hit 17 pulled off to 5, landing on 17. I'm sorry, we hit 15, then 17 pulled off to 15, landing on 17 on the second. Back to 15, skip a string, we land on the third string at 16 to 15 with vibrato on the second string. Then we'll do that again, but we're going to give 15 as bend after a slight vibrato. Alright, so we have this all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then what he does, he comes to the 12th position. Alright, we're going to hit 12 on the third string and then 14 bend up to 15, kind of releasing and bending that 14 and hitting 15 between. And then we release it to 12. So that 15 is struck 4 times. Then we go into a little Chuck Berry move, 14 bent up on the third string, catching 12 on the second to 12 on the first, and then 15 pulled off to 12 on the second string, and we'll repeat that 3 times. Then we come to 14 pulled off to 12 on the third string, landing on 14 on the fourth, back to 12. Alright, so that second measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now the guitars actually start to harmonize here. So we'll go over the first guitar and then I'll show you what the second guitar is doing to harmonize this. Alright, so we're going to slide into 14 on the fourth string before hitting 12 on the third. 14 on the second, pulled off to 12, slid to 10. Then we hit 12 bent. 12 bent to release. Before hitting 10 to 12 bent, 12 bent again, and then 12 unbent. So all together, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do that one more time. Alright, then we take everything, move it up one step. So we'll be going up to 16 and then 14 back to 12. Alright, they will do that twice. So that is one guitar. So the harmonized guitar comes up to A here. So just like we did with the A here. Alright, we're going to do that right here. We're going to start out on 6, sliding into 6 on the third string to 5 on the second and first. And then we're going to go to the second string. We'll hit 7 and then 5 back to 7 with some bend, and then 7 bend and release. Then 5 to 7 bent, and then 7 bent again, back to 7 unbent. So all all together. We'll do that again. Then we just move that up to our B. That was referencing an A there. We just move that up to B. We do that one more time, and then solo 2 starts. Solo 2, I wrote each measure out because the guitars trade off. So it's approachable for one guitar. It's just a matter of shortening maybe some of the notes at the end of the measure to get to the next measure, but it is doable. So the first measure will sound like this. Alright, so what we're doing, we're going to start out with a quick hit on 17 bent, then 19, first string, then we come back to 17 with a bend and release. Alright, and then what we do is hit 15 back to 17, then 15, and then 14. At that 14, you want to use your first finger because we're going to roll into the next notes. So it'll be 14 on the first, 15 on the second, 16 on the third, 17 on the fourth, back to 16 on the fourth, and held. Slowly to that point, 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point, we're going to slide into the fourth string at 14, catch 12 on the third, back to 14, back to 12, and then we hit 14 on the third, bent up, catching 12 on the second, and then 14 released. You kind of let that 12 go as you're releasing it. Just hold on to the 12 at second before the next guitar comes in. Alright, so all together, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the next guitar comes in, next measure. So what we're going to do there is we're going to hit 15, slid into 15 and bend in vibrato. And then we release it and hit 15 as we release it. To 12 and then 14 bent up, and then we catch 12 on the first string. And then 15, 14, 12 to 15 on the second string, bent, and then catch 12 on the first string. Alright, so we have this so far. Then we take 15 with a bend, slight vibrato, release, 14, slight vibrato, release, 12. He's going to do this walking down the scale. So we go to 14 on the third string, 12, and then land on 14 on the fourth with some vibrato, eventually slid off. Alright, the next guitar will come in. Alright, his part, it was kind of hard to pull out exactly what he's doing. It's definitely some double stops, meaning 2 notes at the same time. And he moves down a little bit. The second half was easy to pick up. So what I think he's doing here is we're going to be at the 9th fret. All right, we'll do this. Okay, I haven't practiced that a little bit, so I'm going over my notes. But we're hitting 9 bent and then some vibrato with a release. Then we hit 7 to 9, let that ring. Come back to 7. Then hit them together and then just 8 as we slide down and hit 7 and 5 together. At that point, hit 5 on the 4th string, bent. And then 5 on the 5th string, hammered into 7, and then 7 twice. Then we come to 5, 7, and then 8, slid back to 7. Pulled off to 5. And then 7, 5, 7 on the 5th string. Then what he's going to do is kind of walk up a little bit, 7 to 9 on the 4th string. And then 7, 9, 7, back to 9 with the bend and vibrato. Alright, so all together, 1, 2, 3, 4. So all together, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, all together, 1, 2, 3, 4. So next guitar we'll start out with 15 bent and released on the 2nd string, kind of take off from there. Alright, so we're hitting 15 bent and release on the 2nd string, 12 to 15. Then we come back to 12 with a hammer on to 15 and pull back off to 12. Then we hit 14 on the 3rd string, bent up to 12, pulled on the 2nd string from 15 to 12. And then we're just going to do 14 bent up and hit 12 after that. We'll do that 4 times. And then hold the last 12 with vibrato before the next guitar starts in. Now the next guitar, he's going to come up to this 15 position. He's going to play 17 bent and then 17 unbent with some vibrato before coming to 15 and 17. Alright, so what we're doing, 17 on the 2nd string, bent, vibrato, 17 unbent, 15, 17, and then we come to the 1st string, 15, 16, 17, and then 17 bent, vibrato, and eventually slide off. So the next lick will be 15 on the 1st string, then we'll catch 18 on the 2nd, bent, back to 15. We'll do that a total of 3 times as we end on 15. Okay, so the next measure comes back to our 12th position, and we got some double stops here. So what we're doing is bending the 2nd and 3rd string, 14, released and pulled off to 12 on the 3rd and 2nd, and then landing on 14 on the 4th. We'll do that a total of 3 times. Then we come to 14 bent, little bit of vibrato, 12, and then some vibrato as we bend it. Landing on 14. Then we take the 4th string from 14. We're going to go 12, hammered into 14, pulled back off to 12, landing on 14 on the 5th. And ending with a double stop on 12 on the 3rd and 2nd string bent. Alright, so we have this slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the next lick I think really combines a couple guitars, but like I said, it's very approachable, and this one is just so cool. So it starts out like this. How cool is that? All right, very radioactive, reminiscent, if you will. We start out Chuck Berry style, 14 bent up on the 3rd string to 12 on the 2nd and 1st string, then hit 15 bent and vibrato, then release it and hit 12. Then we give 14 on the 3rd string, some bend and vibrato. Before you hear the next guitar come in, again there's some echo and everything going on. So it's a bend at the 2nd fret of the 3rd string with a slow release. And then they end it with this. So we're going to go 12, 13, 14 on the 6th, 5th, and 4th string. And then we move that pattern down until we reach the 3rd to the 1st. And come back to 12 on the 2nd with a bend and vibrato. Just great. All right, guys, we're almost there. Now we've got this. It's three guitars, each doing a set of licks, and then they do the lick one time each through. So the next set of licks, there are 3 specific licks. Each guitar does one, but again, it's approachable. We're going to do 2 measures of it. They're going to repeat, if you will, or go twice through. So the first guitar starts out 10, 8, 7 on the 1st string and repeats that on the 2nd. The next guitar comes in, a little different. We're going to go 15, 14, 12, and then 15, 13, 12. All right, so we have this so far. Then we come up to the 3rd position. We're going to go, this is a little stretch. We got to go from 7, 5 to 3. The 1st string, 2nd string. So slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. So slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we'll repeat that again, all right? The second to last measure here, we just do each one once, all right? You'll hear this. Then they come up to the 12th position. Then the 3rd position, and that 3rd position really goes twice. It's kind of like he's restarting everything. That's where we hear the 2 E's and end it with that delay and the E, 2nd half of the power chord. So that is all of it. Wow, there's a lot of licks there, but they're so melodic and memorable, and I think you guys just have a blast learning this. I know I did, so enjoy.